Alright guys, what you see behind me is my first gen Cummins, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to turn this thing up and get a whole bunch more power out of it. And now, while this is a first gen truck, of course it's a 93, it does have a second gen motor, so it will be a P pump and not a VE pump. This motor is, or this pump I should say, is much more capable than the motor, or the motor that would have came in this truck with the VE pump. So what we're gonna do today is mod this AFC housing, remove the fuel plate, and install governing springs into this truck. So first thing I'm gonna do is just get this intake tube out of the way, pull that off, and then I'll show you what to do next. Just 11mm. Just buzz this off quick. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove it down here as well and just take this pipe right out of here to get out of my way. Alright, now with that intake tube removed, I can get at the AFC right here. What you're going to want to do is remove these two bolts, remove this screw up there, and then as you can see right there is the tamper-proof screw. So this pump has never been touched at all. So you're gonna have to, I'm probably gonna use like a real small Torx bit and hammer it in there to screw that out, and then I'm just gonna replace it with a different regular screw. So you're also gonna need to remove this line and this rubber hose here. This one just goes to the intake for your boost reference, and then this comes from the turbo for your wastegate. So like I said, I'm gonna get these two out and then work on that tamper-proof screw back there. Alright, I got it off now. So I ended up using a punch on it. I don't know if it's gonna want to focus. Anyhow, I ended up using a punch, came in from the backside and had the punch just like so, and turned free right away. Came off really easy, and now I got the AFC housing. So pretty simple inside here. I'll actually probably do this work on the flatbed on here, but this right here is your fuel plate. I'm just gonna pull it right out. There's an argument about whether or not you should pull it out. I've seen plenty of trucks, I've owned plenty of trucks without it in there, and nothing falls apart. You know, they say something inside here can fall apart, but I've yet to see it, so I'm going to pull that out and probably throw it in the trash, and then we're going to do some work on this. There you have it. Fuel plate is gone. Alright guys, now on here we're going to remove these 3 screws and another tamper-proof one we're going to have to remove. Alright, now that one's loose. And I loosened this one up too. Can't remember if I gotta take that off or not. Now I'm gonna pry that off of there. And there you have it. Clean this up a little bit. Now what you can do is pull this off. That will let you pull this shaft out. Then you can pull this AFC foot right out of here, and we can take this thing all the way apart. I'm gonna go grab it right. It's a little bit just O-ring in there. Pull that out, and this comes right off. Now this will all slide apart. Inside there, you can see the star wheel. If you wanted to adjust that, that would be how and where. You just get at it through this plug right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this nut off here, and then we're actually gonna replace this washer right here. So what I do is I just grab this with the pliers, put a 10mm down here, and just spin it off. There you go. Just that easy. Now you can separate it, and this is what we're replacing, and I'll show you what we're going to replace it with in a second. Alright, this is what we're replacing it with. You can see it says my AFC full travel kit. It's a 5/16 by 1.5" fender washer. It's thin as a fender washer would be, and it's the same diameter roughly, same hole size. So you're just going to put this in the center where the old one was and reassemble. You are now going to gain, I believe, that distance right there. If you measure it, I believe it's somewhere around 2mm more travel. So then you're just going to tighten this back up. Just like that, just how it was. Good to go there. Now this is no longer going in. Now for this, we need to grind down this side slightly. 2mm roughly, whatever, it's not super critical, but I'll show you why. So when you put it back together, this of course is gonna sit back in here just like so, and it's gonna hit on the housing. So if you grind it, you can get it to go just a little bit further before it hits. So that's why we grind it. As you can see, we got it ground down, so now it's just reassembly. Don't forget to put the spring back on here. Put the spring back on, line up your slot, put the AFC foot back in, slide this shaft back through. Now this adjustment right here is just how the AFC foot sits in the pump. I usually just leave it where it was, and I don't really have any issues. At least I haven't, nothing that I've noticed yet. Tighten that back down. Now you can make sure this diaphragm sits good, and then put your cover back on. Make sure it's in the same orientation it was before. It's actually kind of nasty inside here. There we go. Now I think I'm actually going to run to the store and get some, I'm going to replace the tamper screws. Just because there's no point in putting them back in. You wouldn't ever get them tight. And you might need to take this apart again anyhow. So now at this point, this whole AFC housing is ready to go back on the motor. You just set it right back on the pump. I'll show you what I mean. Just set it right back on there, bolt it down, and then when you put it on there, you'll notice these holes right here are slotted. slide the whole AFC housing as far as you can forward towards the front of the motor, bolt it back down, and hook everything back up. Hook up all your lines and everything like that. Fire it up and enjoy all your power. It'll be a noticeable difference. It will smoke more. You can play with the star wheel. That affects pre-boost feeling. So if you have a bigger turbo and you have to have more fuel to get it to light, you could add a little bit more fuel to get it going. I personally usually don't mess with that star wheel a whole lot, but I usually have stock turbo, so that's probably why. And I don't like it super smoky. I'm more here for the power than I am the smoke. But that's all you gotta do. You'll get way more power out of your second gen. I'm gonna slap this thing back together. It's not a very exciting process to put it back together, but it is pretty quick. And then we'll enjoy all the new power. I will probably do governing springs in another video. I won't put it in this one. I'll just keep it simple and keep them separated. So one other thing is you probably should have gauges. You can do this on a motor without gauges, but you should be careful. I highly recommend gauges. You know, just so you don't melt anything down. I do not have gauges currently. I got a set for it. We just got to put them on. So that'll be another project for another day. I'll just drive it not too crazy, and that'll be that. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you want to know anything else about the truck, let me know. We still got a bunch of work to do to this truck, so be on the lookout for more videos coming up. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.